What's going on, Dolphins fans? It's Connor from the Dolphins Dive, and today we're breaking down Sean Desai to the Dolphins as defensive coordinator, the likelihood of that happening, and what Sean Desai brings to the table as a defensive coordinator. So, obviously, most Dolphins fans' number one candidate, myself included, is Vic Fangio, but the following guy for most Dolphins fans happens to be Sean Desai, who's a guy that's learned under Vic Fangio in the past. So, I'm going to start from Sean Desai's beginning and work his way all the way into where he's at now, and then the likelihood of him becoming Dolphins defensive coordinator. So Desai started in the college ranks working different jobs on teams like Temple, the U, and Boston College. He literally coached offense, defense, and special teams in different roles with those teams, but he made his way into the NFL in 2013 on the Chicago Bears, but this was pre-Vic Fangio time. He survived multiple coaching turnovers, though, from, I don't know the first guy that he survived, but he survived, I think, 3 different coaching turnovers, which retaining your job while other coaches get fired is a testament to him as a person and as a coach. And later in the video, you'll hear various quotes from different coaches on him as a person and a leader. But he mainly learned under Vic Fangio while he was there in Denver. He was under Vic Fangio, then Vic Fangio went to the Broncos, and he stayed with the Bears, got promoted to DC, and then Nagy got fired, and that's when he ultimately also got fired. Because they hired a defensive coach, so he wasn't really going to keep his job, and he moved to Seattle as an assistant. But if we were to bring in Desai, we basically stay in the same base personnel of a 3-4, so there wouldn't be that much player turnover. Obviously, some people would not fit anymore, but if you watch the Vic Fangio video, it's going to be very similar. We move from a man-heavy team to a zone-based team, but for the most part, most people would be able to stay in the same roles, and there wouldn't be too much regression due to scheme change. What mainly would change is just coverages and the amount we pressure. We'll see a lot more zone coverage that can be very complex. A lot of match coverage, cover 4, cover 6, cover 9. Quarter, half coverages, things like that. So, but less blitzing. So, for example, the past season, the Dolphins blitzed at a 33% clip. Desai's his one season as a DC blitzed 22.6% of the time. So, we'd see a drop off in blitzing, more base pass rush, complex coverages, try and make the quarterback make a mistake, not let him beat you over the top, make him dink and dunk his way down the field, which can be difficult for a lot of quarterbacks to do. Only the really good, high-level quarterbacks are able to be patient, take what's given, and keep it moving. A lot of people want to take that shot, and if that were to happen, there'd likely be a mistake. In 2021, he got obviously promoted as DC, where he called plays. This was his only year calling plays, and that's why I personally prefer a guy like Fangio, because Desai called plays for 1 year, didn't have the most success. Now, obviously, his team wasn't the best either, but Fangio's just got the experience over Desai, in Desai's 1 year calling plays, he was 22nd in points per game at 23.9. But despite only blitzing 22.6% of the time, the Bears had 49 sacks, which was 4th in the league. So that's something to look at, is that the quarterback might have been holding on to the ball too long because of the good coverage, or that's just a good pressure scheme. And I'm not saying pressure scheme in terms of blitzes, but in terms of like stunts and twists and games and things of that nature. Allowing the defense to get after the quarterback. But they only had 8 interceptions, which is horrible. That's an 8.4% turnover percentage, which was 27th in the league. So you got to be able to force turnovers on defense. So once again, he didn't necessarily have the best personnel. Maybe if you give him a better roster, which the Dolphins, I would say, have a pretty solid defense. In terms of players, he might be able to make more happen. He was 24th in rushing yards per game as a DC, and 3rd in passing yards per game. So looks like the passing defense was phenomenal. The rushing defense was not so good. So you give him some of our players, I don't know how that would have changed. But I'm going to go into some of the quotes that were said about him when he was hired and from different various players. So Matt Nagy obviously was the one that promoted him to DC. And obviously he's going to gas up the guy he's promoted, but he said he is a person of high football intelligence, extremely detail-oriented, has very strong work ethic, and I cannot think of someone else more deserving to lead our defense. So obviously those are very glowing words. You like to see strong work ethic and a high level of attention to detail, and it kind of correlates to his complex defense in terms of the back end with a lot of match coverages and whatnot. And if you think about it, it's kind of like Brandon Staley got brought over from Denver to the Rams, ran that defense, which had very good players, to a very high level. So I think if you maybe bring in a guy like Desai to our defense with decent players, you might see some better performance than he did have in this 1 year with the Bears. Kyle Long, former Bears guard, said Desai is the man. My rookie year, he drew the cards for the scout defense. I believe he then ran scout meetings, worked his way up, always the same guy too. And that's another thing. Like, you love seeing a guy who doesn't get power hungry or tripped up. He's the same guy regardless of his position. He's going to treat everybody the same. That's glowing words, especially from an offensive lineman. Like, the fact that Desai was able to reach so many different people in the building is a testament to him as a person. And last but not least, Sam Acho, who I believe brothers to Emmanuel Acho, goes, the Bears don't have to look far for their next DC. Sean Desai has been ready for that role for years. He was Vic Fangio's right-hand man for 4 years and helped craft that defense to greatness. Smart, talented, knows ball, and has all the credentials. All he needs is an opportunity, which is very glowing words once again. The fact that he's Vic Fangio's right-hand man too, that's what I mean. If we don't get Vic Fangio, I think Sean Desai is the next best guy. That's my opinion. I think that's most Dolphins fans' opinions. But comment down below, what are your feelings on Sean Desai? If we don't get Fangio, is he your number 2, or is there somebody else? But that's going to be it for today's video. I appreciate everybody for watching. It means a lot to me. Please like and subscribe to help the channel grow. And until next time, I'll catch y'all.